welcome, I'd like to ask everyone to stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I said that a little while ago, because of the daylight savings, remember it changed what it used to be. So all the school districts can catch up to that. It changed.
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's meeting agenda as stated. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Patch with the second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Got my game face on.
With that, we do not have anyone signed up for the community open forum, so we will bypass that and move into special presentations. First up, we have Principal Amanda from Miller Hawk Elementary School.
All right, good evening. Thank you so much for doing a spotlight on our school. We're sorry we couldn't be at Miller Talk tonight, but due to the construction, we appreciate being able to present here. We're very excited. We had a lot going on this year that we wanted to highlight. We have highlights from each grade level. And tonight, the format of our presentation, I can get this switch, there we go. We are going to present through the attributes and competencies of a Central Square learner. So this is something from the College and Career Readiness Committee that we've created over the past year that we have throughout our building that we practice and really have made come to life. And so we wanted to highlight some of those areas and strengths for you. So for each area, for effective communicator and collaborator, we are going to have my fourth grade team who really exemplifies this as teachers. They work really well together and they communicate and collaborate really well, and they're engaging the students in collaborative activities, so they're going to highlight that for you. For innovative and critical thinker, we have some things going on in the building with STEM opportunities for children, even at the kindergarten level, so we're going to highlight some of our kindergartners tonight. And then we also are going to highlight our after-school program that we did for a few weeks as a pilot program that we're going to do more of in the future. For emotionally intelligent, we've been piloting the Positivity Project in at least one class per grade level this year, and we're really loving watching how students are learning about how their actions impact others through this program. So you're going to hear a little bit about how the Positivity Project has impacted our students at Miller Talk. And we are fully ready, we're fully trained to be doing that next year, so we're very excited to highlight that for you. And contributing citizen, we have our student leadership group that's in its second year that has done a lot to contribute to the community, so we're going to highlight a little bit of that work as well. So without further ado, I'm going to ask our fourth grade team to come up. Hoping I can get this changed.
This year, the fourth grade has taken a broader approach to teaming. We have reconfigured what fourth grade looks like, and the students work with all three teachers every day. Each of us has been able to harness our strengths and create deeper, more rigorous instruction for all of our students. Reimagining the construct of fourth grade has allowed the team to have maximum flexibility in meeting the needs of individual students. Grade level morning meetings, STEM projects, and digital collaborations through Google Classroom are just a few examples of how we have utilized the power of teaming.
It does have sound too.
So we wouldn't have speakers if we didn't know. What's that?
It is just music, right?
It's just music.
Okay, it's just music, so we can just watch the visual.
Just hum along. This is just an example of what we did in the auditorium. The whole fourth grade worked together on some STEM roller coasters. This is an example of some Google collaborations that we're doing. The students were able to kind of work to create ideas for a zombie apocalypse in New York State with geography. And this is just an example of what the morning meetings look like. All three grade levels, or excuse me, all three classrooms come together and we do different team building activities at morning meetings.
Is this one working? All right, thank you, fourth grade. Truly, the teaming has been amazing and the impact on the children has been really awesome to watch. We've really enjoyed it, and the kids, I think, have enjoyed it as well. Is it on slideshow mode? Change. All right, and our very next one is Innovative and Critical Thinker. And our kindergarten students are going to start off, and actually we have a pamphlet on each person's spot there. And a little treat was from kindergarten as well. So, we have Mary Asmus and Sherry Hansen with their students.
So on Friday mornings, our kindergarten classes combine to engage in science, technology, engineering, and math activities. It's our goal as we mix our students to provide opportunities to help them develop their skills of problem solving, communication, and collaboration while practicing perseverance, respectfulness, and empathy. They're able to focus on being a team player and resolving conflicts as they work together to complete a fun and engaging challenge. So one thing we did to talk about our STEM activities that we've done together is a glow and grow, and we did it as a home activity, things that they liked and things they wanted to see in the future, and relating it to the attributes, and we gave them a little sheet about the attributes. So then we came back to school and they wrote about it, and this is what we wrote.
I compromise with my partner Liam. Next man was Norman. I drew the left eye, he drew the right. My favorite STEM was Humpty Dumpty. I learned to collaborate.
Great job. We loved hearing your reading, and we can actually view their writing right up there. It's a very nice job. What a wonderful work. Really collaborating. Nice job. It takes a lot of bravery to come up here. Nice job. There they all are together. Every Friday they do the STEM activities. It's so fun to visit. All right, and now we have Miss Geis and Mrs. Pratical, right, who did the third grade after school STEM club to come tell you a little bit more about that.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Pratico. I'm the librarian at Millard Hawk. Ms. Geis and I worked several weeks after school with third graders on the STEM club activities. We figured we would start small. This is a pilot program for this year, and hopefully next year we'll grow to include more grade levels. And some of the things we worked on were
we have, so what's pictured up here, Hour of Code, you might be familiar with. It's a website where students can kind of create their own games. And then the Breakout EDU is up in the other corner. That's a lockout box. There's also an online website. But then the two favorites are in the opposite corner. So that white box with the multicolored pieces is a marble maze. The kids were given a picture they had to replicate and then figure out how to get the marble from start to finish. That was really interesting to see them cooperate and problem solve. And then down on the bottom, those little blue guys are Dot and Dash, and they're two robots that you use the program Blockly or Blockly Junior, depending on your grade level, to program. You can get him to do a catapult, play piano, tell a knock-knock joke. So he was very, very popular.
Thank you. Okay, so we have the most presenters for this section, emotionally intelligent, and again, this is all about the Positivity Project, hashtag Other People Matter. We sent a big group of teachers with me over to out by Destiny USA to get trained on Positivity Project in the fall. We left pumped and excited, and we just turnkeyed to the rest of the building together on the last PD day, and we're really excited to go full board with it in every single classroom next year and really have a building effort. But this year we had at least one class for grade level doing it, 4th grade all did it together, and since the training we've seen that teachers are trying it out more and more, and again we're excited about the impact. So we're going to start with 5th grade, so come on up girls. We have Mila and Kayla. And they actually took the character survey, which if you follow P2, they have a huge social media. If you look it up on Twitter, there's a lot there. That is the website to go and take a look. There's 24 traits that you study throughout the year. And there is a weekly highlight, but they circle through all throughout the year. And so you can take that survey and find out what, from 1 to 24, what your top strength is. And it's really powerful when you do this with staff and with students. Because it just sparks discussion on, what's your strength? This is mine. I can't believe it. Oh yeah, that's absolutely you. And the kids in 5th grade in Mrs. Manchester's class in your room took it in the fall, and they were all abuzz. They were so excited. They went around and decorated the school on what the character traits were. They decorated my door with my trait. So it's been really exciting. So they are here to share what their top trait was and what it means to them. So you ready, Kayla?
My number one trait is appreciation of beauty and excellence. That means to notice and appreciate the beauty in other people.
My name is Milo Otazik, and my top character trait is humor. Humor to me means you enjoy making people laugh and you know what to say at the right time.
Thank you. As you can see from the picture, both girls are in the picture along with their classmates, and they were really excited to make those and really highlight their traits. And it's really neat to talk about the top 5 and the bottom 5 and say, these are things that we want to work on and set goals on, and their strengths for everybody. So thank you, girls. Great job. 4th grade, who's going to come up? Caden, and he's going to talk about the kindness wall that we did around Christmas time, wasn't it? Okay.
The 4th grade created a kindness wall. The kindness wall was a place where anyone who got a sticky note as they walked down the hall. Each sticky note had a positive message to share and encourage the person who needed it. Sticky notes had phrases such as, "You're beautiful in your own way," "You can do it," and "Shine bright." As at this time, we would like to give the board members their own sticky notes. Thank you.
This wall grew more than we expected. It started just taking up the one window pane, and then by the next day, most of the tickets had come down. I think the class came up to refill, but then other teachers started refilling it. Other classes came up and refilled it, and then as you would visit teachers, you would notice they had the sticky notes on their door, on their lockers, or even on their desk. I have 2 on my desk. So it's just really neat to have that little pick-me-up and that positivity going on through the school. Good job, Keaton. So we're going to highlight our 2nd grade and 1st grade students about the Positivity Project as well.
So one of the most enticing aspects of the Positivity Project is that it scaffolds from grade to grade. So while the traits are consistent and repeated, the presentation of the trait is different from year to year. So we have a 2nd grader and a 1st grader that are going to be discussing their experience with the trait love of learning. And this is Elizabeth Wood from my class.
In 2nd grade, we started with a book called 2nd Grade, Here I Come, a book of poems that focus on things that may happen in 2nd grade. On the 2nd day, we watched a video called Learn Something New Every Day, and it taught us the importance of seeking new information. The next 2 days, we had quotes to discuss. I like to quote, Learning is a treasure that will follow its owner forever. That means to me, once you learn something, you'll never forget it. Finally, we got to think about what we would like to learn and started working on passion projects. My first one is, who is a famous architect?
The first grade scaffolding leads right into there. We did love of learning as well, and every day we do it right after our morning meeting. It always starts off with, what does the word mean to you? A quote, what does that mean in your first grade minds? And a little video clip. And this is Cooper Techman, and this is what he had to say about love of learning.
In first grade, we practice love of learning. We talk about the following quote from Dr. Seuss. The more you read, the more things you'll know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. To our first grade class, this means if you don't learn, you won't read, and then you won't know all that you possibly could.
Great job. Excellent reading up here. That was impressive. We're all working on our bravery. That's another one of the traits.
Can I just say real quick, so which one of you said a sense of humor was really important? Raise your hand. So I think that's kind of cool that the one that I got said you're exiting. I'm hoping it meant exciting because if the board wants to tell me something, that's awesome. There's a C in exciting. I got a little nervous. Thank you.
We will immediately move into executive session.
So nice job, boys and girls. It's very authentic, yes, very authentic. So it was really exciting because, again, as each class has tried this out, the teachers are realizing how easy it is to follow the Positivity Project. Everything is based, like Mrs. Riggs said, it's scaffolded for each grade level. It's systematic each day. There's a piece to do. It really should only take 10 to 15 minutes out of the day. That really sets up the rest of the days for really positive things. You can really flex and flow with it. You can have a day to engage a little bit more. You can pull back if you need to. But it's all there for a teacher, and it's highly engaging. And what was amazing is that it does come with a quote to discuss. And even our youngest students in first and second grade, the quote is the most interesting. So, and they love to talk about it and engages their attention. So that's exciting to see. So our last one, contributing citizen, I'm just presenting on behalf of our student leadership group, which consists of 5th graders. They have to have excellent behavior, attendance, and grades in order to be a part of this group. And we're really proud of the work that they've done this year. Hopefully a picture will come up soon. They meet after school at least once a month. Sometimes they meet more often so that they can volunteer in the community. Some of the things that they've done, I really wish this would change. There we go. Okay, so the Salvation Army, they rang bells up at Walmart, which was pretty cool on a very cold night. They did that in December. And I think Mila's in that picture. And so that was wonderful. They did that. This is their 2nd year doing that. They had veterans come in who trained dogs for veterans and talked about their organization, and they learned all about that. And they also did a fundraiser for that organization to get things to take care of the dogs with. They participate in district things like the food fight and the coat drive. They just help to advertise for it and collect those things. So again, we kind of run everything. Instead of the teachers organizing, coordinating those community opportunities or giving opportunities, we let the kids really run and organize that. So really empower that leadership at that young age. So I think Caden's in one of those pictures too. Looks like it. But, so we're really thankful for their leadership and for the teachers as well. We have at least 5 teacher advisors that volunteer for this and stay after school once a month. And we're just really proud of what they do and how they're role models for the rest of the building and really incorporate all the kids in the community service activities. So that's our presentation for tonight. Thank you so much. Hope we didn't go over, but it's tough with the clocks the way they are. So thank you very much.
Great to thank all of you, especially the students, for speaking. You did a great job. We're sorry we had to hold the meeting here, but it's pretty cool walking into your building and being able to see how it's actually put together with open ceilings. Hopefully it's not too much of a distraction for you guys. So I don't know if the board had any comments before we move to the next presentation?
I just want to thank everybody for coming in. You guys did an awesome job, and to see how your career and readiness program is really got down into elementary schools, I think it's just fantastic. I could brings a big smile to my face to see it. So keep up the great work.
So before we move into the next presentation, because I imagine you may not be staying the whole night, I just want Mr.
But
Cole.
it is going to be very exiting.
Mr. Kobufu and I were just chatting. I'm going to move it up a little bit so that you guys can hear before you leave. So I think we all know, obviously, there's big changes coming next year, you know, utilizing CSI. And one of the great things is kudos to the board, because some decisions we've made in the past financially, but also to both our board clerk / superintendent's secretary, Pearl Horn, for being willing to cover some duties next year down at CSI, and Mr. Colbufo for helping out. That financial ability is allowing Mr. Colbufo later in his presentation to propose a fourth special patrol officer for next year, which will, I think, really help having another building in use and cover all our elementary. So hopefully that's good news for all of you. We think they're a great asset, but we want you to hear that before you get to go home.
And it also allows us with the training. It's another person to be able to get at a very low cost to be able to be the fourth special patrol officer with all their years of training to be able to do that, which is fantastic for the staff and for the students and for any visitors that come into the building.
Yeah, if you need to get home, now's a really good time for you. We are going to move into Mr. Colbufo's budget presentation.
It's really, really exciting.
Dowler, Vanessa, did you not get the message? No,
As all of you are aware, the state passed the state budget 2 Sundays ago, and I want to review the impact of the district. We are pretty much spot on. Again, big kudos to Maureen in the planning and what we anticipated that we were going to be getting. Again, another year where the guesstimate was pretty much right on. So there's only going to be a few slides that were different than the ones that you have seen, but it's going to incorporate the state's budget. Okay, so this slide is where we left you off regarding the January run. This is the adopted budget side by side with the January figures. Our substantial aid increases generated by the building aid. That's the $1,287,501 that you see second column. Again, we talked about building aid and why that number is that number for over a year now. So that shouldn't be a surprise. Really? Okay. This slide shows the changes from the initial January runs to the new runs in the past budget, state budget. As you can see, there's no significant change. I really want to stress that all of the expense-based aids and the pupil-driven aids are estimates, and they are continually changing. So it is really important to know that you see they are an estimate. Again, this slide's kind of self-explanatory. 2019-20 state budget passed legislature on Sunday, March 31st. As I had previously mentioned, our plan was to use any increases to offset the building aid amount, again, which is an estimate. So looking at this right now, it's important that the state budget, the timing of it, what we spoke about, the state aid increases, and that we were going to use that to adjust the estimated building aid. Building aid is our big factor this year. Yeah. As you can see, we did just that. So building aid, you see 19-20 budget, the $2,195,871. The total package is the total budget package is the same. It has not changed. We did not change that number at the bottom, which allows for us to do what we were really looking at the fourth SPO a year out, but with the savings that we can make with myself going down there, which was roughly $60,000, because it was about $300 a day times the 200 days. And then also with Pearl going down there and not needing another clerical for 1 year, and the clerical unit, because Pearl's not in the clerical unit, they agreed to an MOA because it just made sense. This is the same budget plan as previously discussed. The 6.75 budget increase, but only a 2.72 tax increase, which is within our property tax. What you're seeing, if you're looking at the newspapers, which I know you're very informed board, you're seeing there are some districts, I don't want to mention one, but a neighboring city school that had over 115 cuts, $14 million. We've been doing a pretty good job at making reductions through attrition. We had 2017, we had a teacher incentive, retirement center, we had 26 teachers retired, we didn't have to cut anybody. Anytime you can do that is obviously the way to go, because we don't want to bring new teachers in, give them all the training, all the PD, and then they're the least senior, and then they get cut. Because anybody that knows education knows that when you're in college, you're looking, the questions that you're asking are, before I apply to that school district, how many cuts did they make? So I experienced that when I was at Lemoyne College. I wanted to make sure that I was going into a district that notoriously doesn't do that. Syracuse City, for whatever justification they give, it is not uncommon that they cut 50 to 75 teachers every year. Some get hired back, some don't.
Hey, Tom, I just want to, we say it almost every meeting, we're just going to point it out again, the obviousness of state aid going up 6.1% when they force us to stay to a 2.7% tax levy year after year after year. All this does is make us dependent on the state. So the state's taking control by proposing it as a great way to keep taxes down on our property owners. So there's nothing to do about it, just pointing out the obvious.
100%. This slide shows the line items in detail that make up the revenues that we spoke of. Again, really nothing new. Mental note, let's change the battery on this, because it's light. Yeah, there we go. It's got to hit it 12 times. No change to the total expenditures. Some of the line items are changed from the last line based on the initiatives that we discussed regarding counseling, and we talked about that at the elementary, and social workers in the reading position. What we don't have on here was the special patrol officer. Again, we talked before what that price was. That was $40,000 plus another $10,000 for all the training, for the equipment and whatnot. The average cost of a school resource officer is about $145,000 to $150,000. So most districts are moving to our model. I do want to say that the Sheriff Hilton, our new sheriff, gave a big presentation just recently, and a couple other superintendents told me that they had heard, but also Mary Ellen Camiso was there, and she had said that he's using Central Square as the model with the whole special patrol officer system that we have. I'm really excited the fact that they've really kind of become part of the staff, And I'm really excited to the role that they're going to be playing in future trainings, which is going to be key, so we don't constantly have to try to get Armored One to be able to come in for all the onboarding of all the new teachers and whatnot. And it really kind of, it allows us to have them in the specific buildings, which we're really excited about, instead of having it in just one big mass area. That'll take place after the fall training.
Just want to ask, Maureen, is the utilities and fuel decrease a result of change in actual cost or building usage, do you think?
Combination. We generally don't come up to the total budget on that, and knowing this year that we probably have a couple of buildings coming online, moved it to other categories, better utilized.
Okay, thanks.
And before you move on, the salary and fringe benefits, the rate of increase, is that typical over the past few years? What did you see? 5.9%, 2.7?
Yeah, we had our general increase in all the wages is 3.6.
Okay.
And then we're also adding some positions this year.
Okay.
The year coming up, so it makes it a little higher.
Yeah, and we talked about that before, and the board understood. We were, and Dalo's right here, can vouch for this, we were in the lower pay scale for teachers, definitely for administrators in the county. So the 3.6, because we were able to save money when we went from the retrospective plan to the minimum premium plan to the, well, we haven't seen any of the savings yet going into the consortium, but we did see significant savings in our other plans, going from the retrospective to the minimum premium. So that's why we were able to make our salaries whole. So we just hit this 12 more times. There we go. All right, so you will be adopting the $80,113,554 expenditure packet tonight. What you're authorizing the total expenditures, not the individual details and the line items. So there are some things that, you know, like we just talked about, the special patrol officers, things like that, that we have some play to be able to look at some savings that we have and say, we're able to hit things earlier than we thought. The fact that you're, again, approving just that number and not all the different line items gives us that ability to be able to be as up-to-date and current as we possibly can be, putting out the best budget that we can. Okay, so tonight, here we are, my last slide. Told you under 5 minutes. Districts must publish their first of 4 legal notices of the budget and the board election. You see that. Obviously, the big one is May 21st, voting day. We are going to be sending out little cards, and on that, it's going to be talking about the voting locations as well as May 2nd, the reminder about the Safety and Security Capital Project Community Forum. We really want to get full saturation with that so the community will be able to ask some questions. But again, see King & King district staff and Turner Construction and Armored One will be there as well with the police chief and the school resource officers talking about at the May 2nd forum about that vote.
So I know we communicated about the change in polling locations. I know it's posted in schools and everything. What was, I can't remember, what was determined as far as will each voter receive a postcard with their new polling location? I just want to make sure.
We're going to kind of have a rollout. The first mailing that's going to go out will be at the end of April, and it's basically going to be a flyer about the security project. But on those flyers, it still tells you the voting date and the location. So, and then in the beginning of May, we'll have just the notices to everybody about their polling location. And then the budget newsletter goes out between that May 7th and 14th, and that's where we'll have all the information reiterated again. So hopefully we'll cover it.
Thank you.
Sorry, one final thing. Has there been any thought, so the old polling locations, will there be signs there on voting day in case anyone shows up there directing them to the new site?
We can do that.
Absolutely. Fair enough.
Yeah. And I also think both at the Legion and the VFW, they have their things out in the front. So I'm thinking the week before, we can ask them to put school vote here.
Yep.
No, but yeah, that is good. Maybe we just show up. There'll be a sign that says.
Thank you, Mr. Polupa. All right, moving into reports. Unfinished business was not really any action on, just waiting for the next step. But Mr. Patch and I were talking before the meeting started. We both nerded out a little bit, got a little excited about that data presentation last meeting, so that's good. Nothing to report on upcoming presentations, kind of as scheduled, nothing new. So we'll move into board member reports. So I'll open it up to the board. Any topics or updates anyone wants to give?
I was asked by Mrs. Amy Burns at Hastings Mallory if I would come in and talk to her second grade class, and along with the other second grade classes there at Hastings. They are learning about the life cycle of a plant from the seed and so on. And she asked if I would come in and kind of excite the kids up about doing the plants, and they're going to plant all of these flowers in front of Hastings Mallory to make it look great. So I said, on behalf of the board, I got them all fired up, so they're raring to go. So I'm going to go up and kind of help them out. But they were very happy to do it. So.
Yeah, I just got asked a couple times tonight about the meeting location. So there's a couple spots on the website. One is the calendar, the other is like the meeting dates, and they were different. So if we just make sure that going forward we update the location.
He said the meeting dates, that there's places on the website, Rena, that showed that it was, I'm assuming, Millard Hawk, and some showed that it was here.
Yeah.
Yep. And I didn't catch that. So.
I don't know if we can put them in, so I'll find out tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks, though. Have a heads up.
Anything else from the board? All right, just a couple quick things. One, just wanted to thank A.A. Cole for the invitation. I was able to, as many were, to participate in their reading day. That was great to get in there and see the kids and experience that. I didn't stumble over the words too bad. And I won't say much about Winter Guard because I'm pretty sure Mr. Polupa will cover it in his report, but the district has a lot to be proud of, so kudos to all the staff, parents, and most especially the kids. So with that, turn it over for the superintendent's report.
Congratulations to the members of the Central Square Varsity Winter Guard for your outstanding season and finish at the World Guard International Competition in Dayton, Ohio. The Varsity Guard was promoted to the final competition after competing in prelims and finished in 7th place in Scholastic A class in world competition. There were a total of 143 guards who competed in the Scholastic A class during the course of the competition. And this was the first time in Central Square school history that a guard from Central Square made WGI finals. That's extremely impressive. Wonderful job all around. And wonderful job to all the parents that volunteered to make that trip to do the props. As everybody that goes to these competitions knows, there's a time limit. They have to get everything out there and then get it off the floor. So kudos to them. Congratulations to the members of the middle school drum line for your outstanding performance and first place win at state finals on Sunday in the SRC Arena at OCC. The Red Hawk Regiment High School winter drum line finished in 3rd place in the state of New York in the PSA class out of 8 high school drum lines that competed. Great job. I was at this. It was packed with people. It was another wonderful showing for Central Square. There will be a community show in the Paul V. Moore Gymnasium on Tuesday, April 9 at 7 p.m. that will feature exhibition performances by all the district guards and drum lines. There is no cost for admission. Come and see for yourself what our students here at Central Square are doing, and let's cheer them on for their accomplishments. If you have not gone to one of these, I highly recommend it. The entire community comes out for this, and it's another opportunity for us to really congratulate both groups for doing such a wonderful job this year. Congratulations to the following students who were accepted to perform in the OCMEA Junior High All-County Honors Chorus. Angelina Akshar, Logan Merkel, William Appleton, Mariska Bayala, Samantha Cook, Aiden Dowdy, Veronica Guzman, Lily Hodge, Aria Hodgeworth, Jada Johnson, Trevor Johnson, Abigail Nowak, Aiden Rogers, Kenzie Rumo, Antonia Seaberger, Carter Stark, Anna Wheeler, Elliot White, Robert White, and Olivia Winks. Thank you to the amazing student performances from Drama Club at our city annual meeting last week. We had some board members that went out to see that as well. The students that performed, so it was the first time I was told that Central Square actually had presented there, which was wonderful. The students were Jared King, Hannah Sidwalski, Jessica Georges, William M., and Kylie Galarno. They did a phenomenal job, and throughout that evening, the presenters kept praising them for their talented performance, and that was wonderful to see. And that concludes my superintendent report.
I won't say the specific student, but I will say one of the students that was able to go now thinks that we always eat like that at board meetings. So, so sorry I had to miss that one this year. All right, thank you for that report. All right, we'll move into items for action and discussion. Just give me 1 second. All right, with that, can I get a motion for item F1, the approval of the intermunicipal agreement with the Oswego County Highway Department?
Second. I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Boyer, second by Mrs. Wood. Any discussion on that? All those in favor? It's unanimous, thank you. I'll make a motion for item F2, adoption of the proposed 2019-2020 school district budget proposition. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Wood, second by Mr. Todd. Any discussion? All those in favor? Can I get a motion for item F3, approval of the 2019-2020 agreement with the Pinnacle Preschool Universal Pre-Kindergarten Program. Mrs. Wood with the motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Patrick, second. Any discussion on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Since my wife works for Pinnacle, should I abstain from that? Or does it matter?
No, there's nothing, it's not considered conflict of interest. It's not a direct, she's not a direct employee of the district, so you're under no obligation.
Just wanted to make sure, because I know we're limited resources tonight.
Yeah, no, you're good as long as you're good with it. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Thank you, unanimous. And I will make a motion for item F4 that I will read and then ask for a second. Item F4 is the resolution of the Board of Education of Central Square Central School District pertaining to the sale of the former Cleveland Elementary School. Whereas the Central Square Central School District's Board of Education has previously voted to close the former Cleveland Elementary building, and whereas the board hereby determines that the Cleveland Elementary School building and the approximately 13.73 acres of real property appurtenant to the Cleveland Elementary School building is no longer needed by the district for school purposes, and whereas legal title to the school owned by the district is vested in the board, and now therefore be resolved that the board has determined after due diligence to obtain the best price possible for the school on behalf of the district's taxpayers, that the best offer was received from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for consideration in the amount of $199,000. And be it further resolved that the board hereby approves the terms of the offer from the buyer and authorizes and directs the superintendent of schools and board president together with district legal counsel to negotiate a contract of purchase with the buyer and to sign all documents needed to effectuate the sale of the school on behalf of the board and district. And be it further resolved, this resolution shall take effect 30 days from the date of its adoption in accordance with section 1804, subsection 6C of the Education Law of the State of New York. That is the resolution. So,
Second.
can I get a second? Mr. Loy, any discussion on that? There being none, call for the vote. All those in favor? And it's unanimous. Thank you. Yes, one step further for not having at least the carrying costs of that on the district any longer. So obviously updates come at the next meeting. And finally, can I get a motion for item F5, approval of the overnight student trip?
I'll make that motion.
A second.
Motion by Mr. Loy, second by Mr. Buddy. Any discussion?
Yeah, so this, and I'm not directing this at DECA at all, but I know there's some trips that come up where we're missing days of school. How is that, I guess, evaluated when we decide whether or not to approve these trips?
Well, first we look at is the competition. So in that situation, it is like Winter Guard was a competition, they qualified, so they would. So that's the first thing we look at, is we don't want to hinder or prevent somebody from being able to compete, or that is kind of making their way up through the competitions and succeeding because they've kind of earned that spot. And then we look at it, if it's not a competition and this is just a field trip, that they want to go down to New York City, and we look at, those days and this. The board before said that they didn't want to make sure there wasn't a 3-day. We've really been looking at that. But it seems to be the ones where students this year have missed the significant amount of days due to competition.
Yeah. That's the only reason I bring it up. And these students are probably not really in jeopardy of anything missing, some days. So that's why I said I don't want to direct it at DECA, but in general, just keeping an eye on that. Okay, thank you.
And it's probably the same when you look at the grades of the Winter Guard kids who are at the top, right? No, but it's a good question, though.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. And I will make a motion to accept item G in its entirety.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Patch. Any discussion? I'll just note the one change on item G 7, which is not a big deal. It's just it's a little bit of change. So Pearl, what is it called? What are you now? Chairperson of the election, which better aligns to what education law says it's supposed to be. So, yeah, congratulations for the additional work and nobody. Any other discussion of that?
Did you get the Cheetos?
All those in favor?
Pencils over here.
Can I get a motion for to accept item H in its entirety, personnel?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Patch with the motion, second by Roy. Any discussion on H? All those in favor? All right, and I make a motion that the Central Square School District Board of Education hereby move into executive session to discuss matters leading to the possible tenure of certain individuals with no action to follow. Can I get a
Second.
Second, Mr. Loy, any discussion? All those in favor? All those in favor? Thank you. Have a good night.